Hello, excellent people. Welcome back to Shift Indonesia YouTube channel. This is me, Fajar Direndra Gregory. I'm the CEO of SSCX Technovation. Here with us is Mr. Pierre Cardas. He is from Rockwell Automation. He is managing the Asia Pacific industry for food and beverage and life sciences sector. Welcome, Pierre. It's good to see you again. How are you?
Jafar. Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
And hello, excellent people as well. Very pleased to be with you.
Okay. So hope you are in a very healthy condition because and this pandemic situation, a lot of things happen. Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully we will be back to a normal soon because vaccination campaign start. The life science industry is adjusting, so hopefully we will be able to get face to face soon.
Yes. Yeah. Let's make it happen.
Sure.
So welcome to our channel, Pierre. So to start with, can you please share with us a little bit about your background?
So I'm working for Rockwell for 7 years now. I am in Asia for 25 years. I am based presently in Thailand. In the previous life, I used to be very much into the manufacturing side. I was also working in the what we call OEM. So I was working for a company like Tetra Pak, like KHS, and these kind of organizations until I joined Rockwell 7 years ago. Where I was the OEM manager for Southeast Asia, and later on I become Asia Pacific industry manager, looking after food and beverage and lab science.
That's great. Okay, so you mentioned that you cover the food and beverage and life science.
Yep.
For food and beverage, I think we are quite familiar with. But for life science, we know, but I think we want to know a little bit more and more in particular. Can you help us to elaborate more about this life science sector?
Well, it's a good question. So life science group, I would say four industries. The first one is what we call pharmaceutical industry,
I see.
which relate to what we call small molecules. After we have biotechnology, which is the large molecules. After we have what we call nutraceuticals. So this is the mix of nutrition and pharmaceutical. You know, those drinks which are full of proteins and very healthy for you and these kind of things. And then we have what we call medical devices. Okay, all the devices that are used in hospitals. So those four families are grouping life science. And maybe for the audience to have a better understanding about the difference with pharmaceutical and biotechnology, because everybody talks about those two, and still it could be confusing. The pharmaceutical product, it's a multi-dosage form, so it could be solid, liquid, and this is what we call the prescription over the counter, OTC, the medicine that you are buying in pharmacy. The biotechnology, which is the largest molecule, it is more what we call the injectable solution, like vaccines or these single-use technologies, the molecular properties, the genetically modified kind of things. So this is basically what we call biotechnology. So this is to differentiate pharmaceutical product and biotechnology. Jafar.
That's great. That's great. Now we can get a better understanding about the so-called the life sciences.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So what is Rockwell's strategic positioning for this life sciences and why?
Well, I mean, I don't know if our audience is very familiar with Rockwell, but for decades we have been very well known as a manufacturer of industrial automation around PLC, drive, HMI, motors, and this kind of thing, as well with the high capability software. But over the last 10 years, we have made some significant investments to acquire capabilities and expertise to become an end-to-end digitalization provider.
I see.
And maybe later on I will be covering a little bit more about that. But we are not only now providing solutions to customers, but we are extending to the delivery, to the consulting, to the services, in order to be recognized in that space. And if you look on some websites, there is a very famous company called Gartner who is evaluating companies, and you can see that we are in the top right, which is the leading box, where there is 3 or 4 companies. So we are very well positioned in that space. So that's how we position ourselves strategically in life science, Jafar.
So basically, this is a very interesting the development of this technology providers. To my understanding, I think maybe 5 to 10 years ago, you mentioned PLC. I think some of our excellent people, practitioners in industry, and know Rockwell is very closely related to PLC and SCADA.
Correct.
And you just mentioned about digitalization, and you also mentioned about Gartner. Gartner is very, very IT. It's like everything about IT is in Gartner as an independent party, so they assess. And now you just mentioned that Rockwell is in the magic quadrant of the Gartner. So
Correct.
you're saying that now Rockwell has it all. I mean, the IT and the automation all combined together like that, converging.
Absolutely, because what we found, there's a couple of things. At the end of the day, we are also manufacturer. Yes. We are manufacturing product, hardware. Yes. So 10 years back, our CEO decided to use some of our technology to improve our manufacturing facilities because our productivity, profitability was not at the level that was expected by the shareholders. So we implemented a lot of our knowledge and technologies in our own manufacturing. And digitalization was part of it.
Yes.
Bringing the predictive maintenance, prescriptive operations, and these kind of things. So because of that learning, we decided to not only use that for our own manufacturing implementation in the world, but also to give this back to the customer. And that's why we extended our portfolio and solutions to offer to the customer to the end-to-end digitalization.
So you're saying that Rockwell is so-called a walk the talk, not only selling the solution or doing the automation, but we're actually doing this automation by ourselves, and because of this we learn and then we offer it as a solution for the industry as well.
That's correct.
Yeah. So how these converging technologies from the IT, automation, IoT, and maybe so-called the Industry 4.0, how Rockwell position it to advancing the life sciences sector?
Well, I mean, we need to look at the way we approach that industry is we start by understanding first the challenges of the industry.
Yes.
That is absolutely critical. And if you look at the life science today, the main challenges of this industry is about the regulation bodies. Okay, this is an industry which is very, very regulated compared to the food and beverage. Food and beverage is still, but not as much as the life science. And this is the reason why, Jafar, that we have seen for many years that life science was very conservative, was not moving too much into digitalization because there were these regulation bodies, the GMP standard, the FDA kind of things, that was blocking the development. So what we have seen now is that regulation bodies, they have launched new program to help life science company to go into digitalization, to go faster, to produce better, to increase the quality. So now the challenge is from this new policy and the existing manufacturing, there is still a gap, and we are helping on that gap. The second thing is around paperless operation, in order to have this kind of proper audit entities. So before it was like a lot of paper and Excel file and reporting that takes a lot of time, that was delaying a lot of things in the process. Now the industry becomes paperless. The third thing is around you can see that in order to speed up the process, to have the market, to have the drugs very fast in the market, there must be a closer and faster relationship between the R&D, the lab, and the manufacturing side. And the digitalization is helping to connect those very fast. You don't need to wait the formula to start to think about how you're going to produce. As soon as the R&D start to develop, the manufacturing can start to get information and anticipate these kind of things. And the last things, okay, there's a lot of challenges, but one of the things I can see is the what we call manpower. There's a very big feedback from the industry saying that they are lacking of skilled people, and what we call digitalization with the augmented reality, for example, is helping you to train the people faster. You know, it is helping you to do maintenance on the machines. You don't need to wait many hours to get someone to fix that. You can use augmented reality to do these kind of things. And the fact that you develop a more paperless operation, you are not taking, you are not facing too much human error anymore because of lack of skills and expertise. So those basically are the 3-4 big challenges that we can see, on which we are providing expertise and solution to help our customers to overcome those challenges.
You just mentioned augmented reality. So Rockwell also provide an AR or augmented reality platform?
Absolutely. So couple of years back, we made a significant investment, and everybody has seen in the news that we invest about more than $1 billion in a company called PTC in the US, which is one of the two largest company for this kind of augmented reality. So with them, we have developed a lot of solutions on machines in terms of maintenance, in terms of training. They have products like Vuforia, as we call, and we have used also their system to gather data from the manufacturing to focus on the linkage of the OT and IT together. They have something called ThingWorx. So with this partnership, we have been embarking into the IT-OT connections as well as the augmented reality on the manufacturing floor.
It is very interesting, Pierre. So what will be, in your view and in Rockwell's positioning, what will be the top 3 benefits or advantages for the industry regarding Rockwell's offering in this life science space? Yeah.
Well, the first benefits, and it doesn't need to be about solution and product. I think one of the benefits for people working with, allowing us to work and partner with them, is we have a comprehensive team of life science experts in Asia Pacific, and in every region of the Asia Pacific region. And why I mentioned about that is because we are working with a very large global organization as well as a small pharmaceutical company. So we have our team of consultants, they have this knowledge that they can talk to our customers, from the multinational companies to the single family-owned business into a pharmaceutical industry. The second thing is, we have developed in China and India what we call Center of Excellence to develop solutions for the Asia Pacific market, because Asia Pacific is different than Europe or North American market. So we are developing solutions which are totally adapted to the life science industry in that region. The third one is what is critical, and you mentioned about the IT-OT earlier. We came into partnership with some key organizations to help us. So PTC, I just mentioned about that. Cisco, we are partnering with Cisco, you know, for the OT, IT security. Microsoft we have developed a very tight partnership with them. A company like ENH in the instrumentation. So all these partnerships that we are working together, we are bringing this back to the customer as a benefit. It is not only Rockwell bringing an automation solution, but there's so many things that needs to be involved in digitalization that we are able to bring our partners as well together.
Yeah, it caught my interest about the Center of Excellence for the solution. And you also said that it's quite different between Europe solution, what is the solutions they required in the Europe market and also in the Asia Pacific market. Can you share with us what is the particular differences between those two markets?
I think the first difference is digitalization is very new in Asia Pacific.
Okay.
But the good thing in Asia Pacific is when a customer wants to go there, then it goes very fast, and that's why Asia is catching up on Western countries. But what we can see is a lot of customers here, they don't have the resources to have their own team of people knowledgeable about digitalization and so forth. You know, it is not like a company like Pfizer, Sanofi, and all those big names. I don't want. This is the first name that comes to my mind. They have their own team to support the implementation and the development of solutions around that. And in Asia, you don't have these kind of things. Most of the companies, they don't have the funds, or they didn't invest yet, and so forth. So the need of the customer today is more, please understand my needs, understand what my desired outcome, understand where I want to be. And I think this is a big difference, and that's why we have acquired more than a year ago now a very large consulting company called Calypso, who is also based in North America, but with a setup across the globe. And we are bringing this consultancy to the customer to try to understand. Sometimes, you know, before running, you need to start learning about walking. And in this industry of digitalization, a lot of people, they put a solution in place, and the customer, they don't even need that yet. They need to have a more scalable solution to start learning and answering an immediate need. Maybe later on we will talk about a very sophisticated MES system linked to the ERP system and blah, blah, blah. But maybe at the beginning, just a performance dashboard is what they need. A proper process control solution is what they need. And I think that this is what makes the difference in Asia, and this is where I think we are making also Rockwell the difference in this industry.
Yes. Okay, it's very interesting. So if we go and narrow down the region a little bit, how do you see this solution fits in Indonesia, for Indonesian life sciences sector in particular also?
Well, as I said, I think Indonesia is a very interesting market because you have some very large pharmaceutical company and you have some very small pharmaceutical company. So I think for us, we are using the same way. We want to sit down with our customers and we want to listen to the customers. We have nothing to sell. Of course, we will be selling something at the end, right? But at the beginning, nothing to sell. Please, customer, tell me, what are your challenges? What are your needs? What do you want to achieve? And what we do is, like, we are building what we call a digitalization roadmap. We are putting together a plan over 3 to 5 years about the different steps the customer needs to go through. And like this, the customer can plan investments, can plan investment in funds, investment in resources, and we put some milestones, and this is very, very, very important. The second thing is we have a scalable solution. So I need to promote Rockwell a little bit here.
Sure.
But scalable, what does it mean? It means that we can have from a very simple solution, using the SCADA and using the data integrations and doing performance dashboard, up to the complete MES solution, which we call PharmaSuite, Rockwell Automation, connected to your ERP and these kind of things. And we have all of this together. So depending on where the customer wants to be, at what pace, we are able to propose a solution, and we can support all of that. As I said, we have a strong team of life science experts in Southeast Asia and in Asia Pacific if needed. We have a center of excellence in India and China, so we don't need to rely on wherever else in the world. We are autonomous, I would say.
Yeah, it is very interesting. So you mentioned about the digitalization and its roadmap, and there is a natural or maybe a prescribed approach and milestone stages for that transformation. Can you maybe share a little bit more about Rockwell's view or Rockwell's framework about that milestone for the digitalization? What will be the first step, and what is usually called, and what will be the second step, and second phase, third phase?
So it's a very good question, Jafar, here. So the first step is what we call assessment.
Assessment.
Assessment is where we get our team visiting the plant, interviewing the stakeholders, trying to identify the opportunities, because we can see where there is opportunities of improvement, immediate improvement. Because the customer, when they want to invest, they don't want to have a return of investment in 10 years' time. They want to be very fast. So we can help identifying some opportunities, and we are starting to establish some kind of a solution and so forth. The second one is we are building what we call a business case.
Business case.
We are defining the benefit estimation, the costing estimation, the ROI analysis, solution design, and we also help the customer we suggest a prioritization of opportunities.
Okay.
And after it moves to the roadmap itself. So here we are talking about what? Pilots. You know, sometimes we can start on one manufacturing line before extending to the whole factory, or for one specific product. We work on the delivery feasibility. We develop a strategic roadmap and project plan and things like this. And so forth. After we will be moving to what we call architecture design, project executions, and so forth. And after what we have, the customer, what we call a lifetime cycle, lifetime customer. What it means that we have a specific team that keep contact with the customer all the time to be sure that we are responding to what was agreed at the beginning and helping the customer to upgrade, to improve, and to be sure that we are always helping the customer to grow in that process. So that from assessment to a continuous support. This is basically the way we are working. Very briefly, I try to simplify.
So, well, what will be the typical time frame for that each phase? It's like assessment, like how long will it take? Like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then the business case.
Usually, the time from the moment the customer asks us to start an assessment until the moment we put on the table cost and everything, we talk about 1 to 2 months maximum.
Okay.
After, if the customer wants to go further and go into a pilot project and things like this, the project execution is something which lasts the same as everyone, right? But we are talking, if it is purely software, it's going to be a month or two maximum. It is actually not too long. The only thing that took time, and this is one of the differentiators we have. Our solution is not something that is out of the shelf. It is not you download the software, you put the software, you connect, and no. Unfortunately, our solution is tailor-made to the customer. It is exactly responding to what the customer needs. So we are not selling a Ferrari to a customer that doesn't even know how to drive yet. We are going to provide a smaller car in order to teach him how to drive, and later on maybe he will have the Ferrari car.
Okay, so it's like a smaller Ferrari, and then
or the toy, you know, the model you can play on the table first.
Yeah. So first step is the assessment, and then following on the assessment, the business case, and then starting the rollout. What will be your best practice, or even lesson learned, or even practical advice to start the assessment with?
Well, as I mentioned, and here I'm not talking about lab science only. I'm going to extend to food and beverage, which is also a lot of customers. They hear every single day digitalization, every day. Either through emails or invitation. Webinars and seminars. It's about that. But I think a lot of customers scared because some of the customers see as an investment, but they are still struggling. They are still struggling to see what the benefits for their organization. And this is why. And of course, Rockwell is a good partner for that. But my advice is, don't get something which is out of the shelf. Don't get something which is not what you need. You need to be sure that you have a conversation with that particular company, and in order to understand your need, what do you want to do? Because you need to feel very comfortable with what you're gonna do, and you are the owner of it. It is not someone else who is doing the stuff for you. And no, this is your solution. This is your company. This is the future of your organization. So my advice is, don't go too fast on getting a third-party software or this kind of thing that goes everywhere on the internet and so forth that everybody can program. But make sure that you have identified your goals. What do you want to achieve? Make sure that you have identified the challenges, pain points that you have in the organization, and get some people who are knowledgeable enough to help you understanding how to put this together and what solutions to develop together. That would be my advice. And we see these kind of practices and situations almost every day.
Yes, that's great. So regarding, we go back a little bit to the life sciences. Sure. You already shared with us the steps and your advice about how to start this strategic initiative. Now, we understand that life sciences and also F&B and maybe any other sector, they don't just becoming like a standalone or a single island or a lonely man in an island like that. So there is a value chain that connects one sector with another. So regarding this value chain, what is the most related relevant sector that connect directly to this life sciences space?
What do you mean by, sorry, the relevant sectors? What do you mean by that?
I mean, so for example, healthcare, hospitality, those other sectors outside the life sciences that correlated with this value chain of the life science.
Okay, well, I mean, and what is very interesting, because COVID-19 is a very good example of that. Mm-hmm. The COVID-19 is a situation where you need to deliver the vaccine very fast.
Yes.
You need to get the vaccine validated.
Yes.
And you need to have a proper setup in the vaccination. Okay. So so through this kind of digitization information, and you know, there is no secret why Pfizer, BioNTech, why Moderna, why AstraZeneca, and why those companies have been able, are the one who deliver the COVID-19, is because they have a certain level of digitization. Mm-hmm. They have already integrated. You know, most of the time, a vaccine takes five years minimum from the R&D to the moment you can actually administer it to the people. This one is what, less than 1 year.
Yes.
Because from the moment where they start the R&D, mm-hmm. the labs, the manufacturing, mm-hmm. to provide the vaccine in the countries, the vaccination process, the validations and so on, everything has been linked together through a paperless network. You know, you don't need to create a lot, like 500 pages and give to the FDA, please approve mm-hmm. my vaccines, or no, everything has been streamless because of this digitalization. And same goes for the rest. You know, people, they want to have a vaccine for or treatment for cancer. They want to have a treatment for other kind of medicine, and they want to have it fast. From the moment you find the molecules and the moment that can save the life, and the moment mm-hmm. you save the life, you don't want to wait 20 years, right?
Yes.
So that's why your point is extremely valid. Like the interaction with the healthcare, with the regulation bodies and all that is absolutely critical, and we believe that digitalization is playing a big role here.
So what maybe like a decade ago before, we see like there is this life sciences space is like kind of separate with the other sector, and it's like they have their own space. Right now it's becoming closer and closer and becoming very tightly coupled, something like that. Yeah, correct. Especially during this pandemic situation. Definitely, because the COVID has been an accelerator to the system. Yes. Because what we have seen, I'm not an healthcare expert, right? But we can see clearly that the demand is going more into personalized drugs, individual drugs, very specific. You know, when I was young and I pain somewhere, my mother would give me a paracetamol. Okay, take a paracetamol, it will do the job, right? You give paracetamol for everything. But now the customers, the patients, they don't want a paracetamol, because they want to have the medicine that is going specifically to solve their problem fast and well. And that's why there is a lot of new medicines coming every single day because of new molecules and new things for those very specific drug. And you, if you want to get market share in that business, mm-hmm. you need to be sure that you get the drug very fast in the market. So
the COVID is just an accelerator of what's happening in the industry, Jafar.
Yes. And not to mention the logistics, how we deliver, how we distribute the vaccines, and then how we administer and how we do the oversight. Everything seems to just come in together, tightly coupled, and becoming a very new digital ecosystem. Just to do the vaccination, something like that, yeah.
Absolutely, and because don't forget that whatever it is in life science, in food and beverage, in the mining industry, or whatever, the customers are always not the end user, not the one who are using the product, but the people who are manufacturing. They are looking at profitability and they are looking at productivity. So all of this is helping all of that. You are reducing the time, you reduce the cost, you improve the productivity, you optimize the process, and your company is very knowledgeable on the lean manufacturing. It's all about that. You optimize. And this kind of situation helps optimizing, and to your point, up to the logistics.
Now that we are entering this kind of new landscape, I mean, some people can get lost. I mean, yeah, where are we right now, for example? And even when they encounter technology providers, they hear maybe some technology providers saying that and some technology providers saying this. So I think we touched this point a little bit earlier, but I just want to put some more emphasis. How do you picture Rockwell solution to fit in this growing, new, exciting digital ecosystem and landscape?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think for me, everything starts from the expertise and knowledge. Whatever solution you have is meaningless if you don't have knowledge and expertise.
Yes.
You would have a lot of third-party software company who are based in Europe or based in North America, who are going to find a dealer or retailer in Indonesia or in Singapore. I'm not saying that their software is not good. Their software is actually probably good, right? But it is not something that you open the box and you install the software and everything like this. It starts from the expertise and the knowledge of the industry. And I repeat again, sorry if I repeat too many times these kind of things, but understanding the need of the customers, what they want to achieve, the outcome is absolutely critical. There is actually in the market a lot of very good solutions available, software solutions, and not only Rockwell, even if Rockwell is the best, obviously, but there is some other good solutions. But it starts from the expertise and the knowledge. If you don't have that, it's very, very dangerous because you might end up having a solution which is not suitable for what you have. And that's why this is the first point. And the second point is what is important is not when you have installed it, it is what's happening next. Because what is happening next is about constant upgrade, optimization. There must be a monthly or quarterly catch up with the customers, looking at the performance, the ROI, are we in line? What can we improve? This is a constant thing. This is a moving thing. So it is not like okay, you install the software, job's done, and let's go home. And no. It's a permanent thing. So those two parameters are very important. Yes. And that's why for us, as I was explaining earlier, we build up what we call our end-to-end digitization, from consulting down to the life cycle management. And this is very, very critical. At least that's the way we see the industry trend and the needs.
Yeah, I think you brought a very interesting and exciting point there. In our just previously, maybe the point of view is from Rockwell. What is Rockwell's point of view to the industry? What can Rockwell brings to the market? And on the other hand, Rockwell itself is conducting its own transformation. You mentioned that you have been in Rockwell like 7 years.
Right.
I think that's in line with the transformation that Rockwell has been going through, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
True, absolutely true.
So, can you share a little bit more about what actually Rockwell have been doing or did that make Rockwell's internal transformation, integrating the IT and automation and consulting all together successful, so that you can bring success to the client?
Well, it's a very good question, and I'm going to share some internal stories which I think are relevant to talk.
Yes. Well, the ones that can be disclosed, if there is the one that's secret.
It's all right. But you know, and you have been in this automation world for quite some time as well.
Yes.
At the time of the PLC and HMI, you just look at the part numbers and you order it, right? So, and if the customer is using a competitor's, you check the competitor's reference, you check with Rockwell, okay, this is the product we can offer. Okay, give me your best price and this kind of thing. At that time, it was like a selling process. We were selling automation hardware, like you are selling insurance or you are selling financial products and cars and things like this. And what changed is we changed leadership in the organization. To be honest, also our CEO changed, made a lot of very, very good transformation in our organization. And for him, it's about customer-centric organization. We are not selling anything anymore. We are helping a customer to buy. And this is a big difference. Before, like a lot of you try to sell stuff, right? And now we are helping a customer to buy. And the only way for us to do so is you need to listen to the customer. You need to understand what he wants to achieve. What's your pain point? Only after we are going to bring on the table a solution, because, okay, we are not an NGO. We still want to sell product, obviously. But
yeah, of course.
This totally changed. And when we change and this digitization came along, it's a perfect fit. Because here you can't sell a DCS solution, a process solution just like that. You cannot sell an MES just like that without understanding what the customer wants, what the customer wants to achieve. And this changed totally. It's a very good question. This changed totally the way we approach commercially our relationship with the customer. It takes some time, but we are on the right track. And this forces us to do acquisition, but also to strengthen our expertise and knowledge within the industry.
So, yeah, there is. I just crossed my mind. I have been in my career. I have been. I was a sales and I was also a consultant. So it's kind of two different worlds. The one is sales is typically identical with aggressive push, asking the follow-ups. But the consultant is kind of identical with listening. And I think there is another species, the engineers. I think sales consultant engineers. This one is kind of quiet and then, solve the problems. So if I'm hearing your share about your Rockwell transformation, it's kind of mixing these three biomolecularly, maybe into a new species. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. We have been through some what we call change of management. We have the company has been changing. The organization has been changing. A lot of our salespeople have been changing the way, but okay, it's not like it's happening overnight. We have been spending some time of coaching, mentoring, and working together in order to modify that. But everything becomes easy when everybody understands that this is the right things to do.
Yes.
It's when you do your lean manufacturing work, you know very well, right? If there is no buying, if there is no buying from the operators up to the management, you can forget about it. It's going to work for a few months, and after nothing can show. It's everywhere the same. As soon as the people start to understand, wow, this is good for me if I change a little bit my way or the way I have to approach customers, I think because this is the right things to do. So we spend a lot of time working on that, and I believe to be quite successfully so far.
Okay. So I also catching some progressive trends, the so-called like the reskilling and upskilling. Due to the Industry 4.0 technologies, a lot of new skills needs to be acquired. Upskilling, reskilling, from selling the push ways of selling, and then becoming a consultative approach like just you shared. But also we need to understand there is a new required skill that we cannot stay in the old ways like doing just spreadsheet. Currently there is so-called AI automation.
Correct.
Yeah. Can you just share with our excellent people here, what is your own experience in Rockwell about this new skilling, this new reskilling, upskilling like that?
Well, again, there's a couple of statements here. The first one is there is no other choice. This is where we are going. So you can't challenge that. You know, it's it is not a fashion trend. It's a change of generation, a change of organization that you cannot change that. So you need to admit that. Now you need to be very diligent with the people, because they are the ones who are the most important in our organization. So same as I was referring to, you need to talk to the people, but you need to give them the tools which are going to bring them to the level where they need to be to keep fitting the requirement. And IA is a different thing, which I will be talking a little bit later on. When it comes to the people, this is the augmented reality. I think it's going to make a lot of change. You know, when they need to train on the machines, when they need to do the maintenance on the machines, when they need to operate, they can use an iPad and go through next to the machines, and they will see on the iPad where the problem is and how to fix the thing. They can have the Google things. So all of this augmented reality in terms of training, in terms of maintenance, is going to help the people speed up the acquisition of the extra skills that was missing to be where they need to be. The AI thing is more a kind of operation kind of thing. AI is actually helping you to anticipate what is going to happen. And you know, there's not many human people who can do these kind of things, right? The IA, the way it works is the IA gather a lot of information to try to build a kind of a perfect model of manufacturing. For example, a perfect batch. A perfect batch in pharmaceutical is a good example. And everything that is going to deviate, all the parameters which are going to deviate, the AI system is going to check those parameters and be sure that there is some proactive actions to change the things, to be sure that those parameters get back online. And if one parameter changes, the AI, because of the model, will know that you need to adjust some other thing. So the AI is more supportive, what we call the predictive operation, predictive operations, and these kind of things.
Yeah, I think that's quite a juicy part you mentioned about the AI. So earlier we talked about Rockwell acquired PTC, so that and then you have an AR, augmented reality platform. So how about the AI for the predictive maintenance? How does Rockwell position itself for that necessities and that demand?
It's a very good question. So luckily for us in Rockwell, we are not only working with the end user or pharmaceutical industry, we are also working with the machine builders, what you call OEM. Okay. So what we do is, like, our OEM team, as we call, they are talking to the, and I used to be the OEM manager in Southeast Asia, so I've been in Indonesia many times. I know very well.
Okay.
and so we have a lot of machine builders in Indonesia that we help already bring this kind of augmented reality in their machines. So we have a team of engineers who are specialized in that, and we have one very good guy in Indonesia, and specialized in that. And he go to see the OEM. He's helping the OEM to build an AR solutions. So the AR solution will be two things. This is to help the end user on the maintenance. This is to help the end user on the training. And during the COVID time, is very important, because if you have a packaging OEM in Surabaya, for example, and if he's listening, he will recognize himself. We export machine outside of Indonesia. He's not able to send engineer to do the installation. So who's going to do that? So if the machine has a problem in Vietnam or in whatever, in Philippines, so he's going to be blamed because he didn't do the proper installation. So when we have this augmented reality kind of things, we are helping the OEM when they sell the machines to deliver the package solution for maintenance and for training of the operators. So to answer your question, is like we address that because we are able to work with the end user, but we also work with the OEM, and the OEM is able to build this this kind of solution and deliver that to the customer.
Yes. And how about the AI part for the predictive maintenance?
So AI part, actually, you have two kind of AI. So in Rockwell, we have developed two level of solution, one which is an AI module, a kind of a small PLC that you put on the rack. So this AI module is going to work on the machines. Okay. So the AI is going to capture the as I said, the perfect functioning model of the machines, and will automatically adjust and change the parameters to be sure that the quality remains the same. The other things, which we call, this is an APC technology, this is Advanced Process Control.
Yes.
So this one is an AI, but this is more at the manufacturing side. When you want to connect a lot of machines, when you want to connect all batches together, you need to have a bigger system to take care of all of that. We are doing a lot of things around drying machines, the dryers, you know, the temperature, the moisture, all those kind of parameters. So sometimes you need to have an APC system to take care of the whole manufacturing floor. So we have a scalable solution, either on the machines, either at the manufacturing floor.
And so you have a scalable solution from the plant floor to the upper layers, and each of that layers, this all can be powered by AI from Rockwell's AI.
Correct.
Okay, that's really great. Very interesting. Yeah. And then, is there any interesting or real case example that this predictive maintenance for using the artificial intelligence that Rockwell has been a very successful with the customers?
Well, I can give actually an example. There is this OEM called Cytiva. I'm sure that it will be known by the excellent people who are familiar with the biotechnology. So Cytiva is one of the three main players manufacturing bioreactor. Okay. So so we have developed with them. We have developed with them an AR solutions in order always, because you know in the bioreactor you need to check the parameters all the time. You need to have that kind of capabilities.
Yes.
So someone with an iPad will just move the iPad around the bioreactor, and he will be able to check all the parameters and do the right things to change the parameters and the recommendations, the maintenance. So Cytiva is before it was called GE Healthcare. They changed the name.
It's
called Cytiva.
Yeah.
And Rockwell is the exclusive partner for Cytiva for that extent. And now the latest development we did with Cytiva also is to integrate a process control module in their machines. So you don't need to have necessarily a DCS system in your plant. There will be a DCS modules embarked also on the bioreactor. So this is one of the examples I can see, the latest one that is good to share.
Okay, so yeah, I think when we talk about augmented reality, artificial intelligence, system integration, DCS, APC, a lot of exciting things, digital transformation. So I think this only this session will not cover.
No, we'll not. But you know, what you are saying, it's very interesting, and let's be careful that we don't scare the audience, right? There is a lot of things. You know, this is the same that you launch a new phone with a super camera, 100 megapixel, and blah blah blah. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, do I need that?
Yes.
Is it something that I need?
Yes.
You know, my mentor always tell me there is a difference between good to have and must have.
Yes.
And I think the customer, they should focus on must have, not good to have. Because good to have, there is very little chance that is going to bring value in the organization. Must have is. So that's why, you know, when we talk about AR, AI, digitization, that's why when I'm talking about this understanding of the pain point, the challenges, everything, is because really get something that you need, not something which is fancy or which is nice to have. This is something that you must have. That would be my very humble recommendation to the people, right?
I 1000% agree with you on that.
Okay, great.
Yeah. What is the problem? and whose problem is that, and then based on that we do the solution. Yes, not the other way around.
not the other way around. Absolutely.
Not the other way around. Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
Not.
So yeah, well, Pierre, as I said, well, it can take like days maybe to discuss all about this. It's very exciting topics. So what would be your some not just last or closing statement, but what will be your message to our excellent people here that can position your Rockwell's a very different, unique approach and solution, despite of other fastly growing solution and technologies. And yeah.
Well, as I said earlier, you need to get something. You need to get solution in your organization, which is going to help improving your productivity and your profitability. This is, this is the bottom line of all the customers, right? And you must get something that you must have, not nice to have. And to that extent, you need to work with companies who are able to help you, guide you around understanding your challenges, understanding your pain point. What do you want to achieve? How long do you want? In how long do you want to achieve? What the time frame that you have? What's your budget? And this kind of thing. You cannot get these kind of things out of the shelf. And this is one of my recommendations. You cannot go on Lazada and you buy an MES software and you get it. No, there is a phase, an initial phase to understand what you need and so forth. And for us, Rockwell, we do that. And at the end of the day, the customer doesn't even need to buy from us. Maybe he's going to buy from us this consulting phase or recommendation, and maybe he's going to buy to our competitors. This is part of the game. But I think this consulting piece is extremely important. The second thing is, as I explained later, is the life doesn't stop when everything is installed. It's about maintaining, upgrading, be sure that the initial agreed ROI are met, and if they are not met, what needs to be done to get back on the right track? What are the additional things? So it's a complete life cycle, and there is not many companies who are able to provide this kind of solution. And the third thing is don't start too big. Always start something which you can control. Yep. Something that you can own. If you believe that this is too complicated for your engineering team and IT and so on, don't go there, because this is your factory, this is your company, this is your people. So everybody must be very. So that's why the collaboration is very, very important.
Very important.
And this brings me to the last point, which we didn't approach, and I don't think that we should spend too much time, but when you start to have digitalization, you are talking about data integrity. It's all about data.
Yes.
And there is a lot of things which are stored on the cloud, somewhere, and this is where the IT people also start to be involved.
Yep.
And the IT OT, sometimes that is not easy. So one of the things that we have, in our services, we have developed connected services to support a network infrastructure. We are cyber security and all these kind of things. So because of that, when we start the project, when we start the assessment, we bring together not only the OT people, but the IT people are coming over. Because it is not like when you develop the OT solution and you bring this to the IT, okay, now I need to connect to your network. So the IT are going to say, no way. So, and this is one of the things as well. So don't, this is a team, this is like your lean, what your company is doing. This is about lean. Yes. You need to get all the family together, IT, OT, everybody together. And this is a project, this is a transformation for everyone. So that would be my 3-4 takeaway, if it makes sense.
That's great. That's really good. So it's like a newborn child. There's a father, there's a mother, there's a bigger brother, big brother, big sister, something like that. And they all, as a family, look after this baby. And then, choose a small and manageable solution. And then after we can make it done, make it successful, then scaling up like that, scale out, and so on, so that it goes, all over the transformation. Okay, I think we have a very, very, very insightful conversation, and also I think hopefully excellent people, we can learn together. And thank you very much, Pierre. Yeah, we look forward.
Everybody. Thank you for giving me a chance to be on this, very, very good conversation.
Our pleasure. Yeah, we look forward to have a conversation with you again. And excellent people, thank you for joining our channel. Please subscribe to our Shift Indonesia YouTube channel, because there are a lot of very interesting, insightful conversation and videos, and there are a lot more new and coming to that channel. Thank you very much. I'm Fajar Direndra Gregory.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
You see, I know a few words.
Thank you very much, Pierre. Okay.
Thank you.
Salam improvement.